This stone has been sitting in his workshop for 7 years. Not because he forgot about it, because he wasn't ready.
手をつけてしまうのがもったいないほどいい石なんです。
Takashi had been unable to work on this stone for 7 years. Now he will finally breathe life into the stone he fell in love with, as an inkstone. People have entrusted their hearts to written characters, tools for producing vibrant characters. The inkstone, inkstick, brush, and paper are called the 4 treasures of the study in the world of calligraphy. Among these, the inkstone occupies a unique position as it remains semi-permanently if properly maintained, and can withstand appreciation as an art object. The inkstone is said to have originated in China during the Neolithic period. Initially, it was made from various materials such as natural stone and pottery. But eventually inkstones made by carving stone became mainstream, taking on the form we know today. Later, during the Muromachi period, they began to be made in Japan as well, and inkstone production areas spread throughout the country. Their shapes vary. Some have carvings engraved on them, whilst others are made preserving the natural stone shape. Furthermore, old inkstones are called koken, and continue to be cherished through repairs and restoration, passing from owner to owner. The surface of an inkstone appears smooth at first glance, but when touched, one feels an extremely fine roughness. These microscopic irregularities are called hōbō. When grinding ink on a high-quality inkstone, these hōbō allow the ink color to spread in water without applying force, producing finely textured, smooth-flowing ink. Calligraphers express this state as, the ink flows smoothly. An excellent inkstone is determined not only by its appearance, but by this superior grinding quality. Tokyo, Asakusa, Hōkendō, a calligraphy specialty store handling the 4 treasures of the study since the early Showa period. This is a young person who continues to preserve the tradition of inkstone making. Inkstone craftsman, Takashi Aoyagi. Aoyagi handles all inkstone-related work, including manufacturing and adjustment.
一度すずりは作ってしまったら、破壊しない限り残るんですね。作ったということはそれに責任を持たないといけないですよね。
Because it remains for future generations, inkstone making is work that cannot be done carelessly. Takashi's master is his father, Akiyoshi Aoyagi. Akiyoshi learnt his craft in China, the birthplace of inkstones, a master craftsman with 50 years in this field, rigorously trained by Yasuo Sendai. Even now, he visits China several times a year, diligently acquiring raw inkstone materials and antique inkstones. Takashi was born as his eldest son. He received guidance in inkstone making from his grandfather Yasuo, and was thinking of eventually taking over the family business. When Takashi was in his 3rd year of university, Yasuo fell ill. In that hospital room,
呼ぶんですよね。すずりの彫り方を教えようとするんですよ。そこにあるそののみを取ってくれって言うんですよね。
Seeing his grandfather's figure, Takashi felt he wanted to learn the work as soon as possible, dropped out of university, and requested to become his father Yasuo's apprentice. Since then, he has devoted 14 years to training. Now, Takashi is about to take on a major project.
これがLaoKengという石なんですけど、非常に優れている建材としてあれですね、珍重されてきているものなんですけど。
LaoKeng raw stone, whose texture is so moist and smooth it's compared to a baby's skin. Discovered in China hundreds of years ago, it has continued to be used as inkstone material. After this, inkstone making begins using this precious stone. There are people who highly value his work. Toshiro Takahashi, who has also written books on the history of calligraphy, is one of them.
宝剣堂の彼らの仕事というのは非常にいい仕事をしてくれますよね。こう人柄が勝ちすぎない、人物特定の人物が勝ちすぎないっていうのも職人の優秀性だと思うんですよね。黒子に徹することができる点で優れている面もあると思います。
Together with his master Takashi Aoyagi, he is said to be one of the few craftsmen who can maximize the stone's appeal without being ostentatious about his own technique. An excellent inkstone, in addition to design that brings out the stone itself, requires practicality when grinding ink as most important. The ink color spreads in water without applying force, producing finely textured, smooth-flowing ink. The key to this pleasant grinding quality, which calligraphers express as the ink flows smoothly, is the stone material.
この石で硯を作りたいと思います。
What Takashi is working on this time is LaoKeng, Old Quarry Stone, a rare and high-quality stone mined in Zhaoqing, China. His master Takashi Aoyagi speaks of LaoKeng thus.
模様もね、すごくこう綺麗ですし、でなおかつ墨がすごくよく降りるんですね。それもただ粗くよく降りるんではなくて細かくよく降りる。昔からその中国のそういう文人だとか皇帝だとかもその老香の硯をこう探し求めたわけですね。
On the surface are irregularities, hōbō, not visible at first glance. The finer these irregularities and the more uniform the particles, the smoother and better flowing the ink that's produced. Because LaoKeng has high stone density, the hōbō wears down less easily and develops well. For these reasons, it has been used for hundreds of years.
手をつけてしまうのがもったいないほどいい石なんです。
Takashi had been unable to work on this stone for 7 years. Now he will finally breathe life into the stone he fell in love with, as an inkstone. He draws a full-scale diagram of the image he's held in his mind all along, deciding how to finish it. Inkstone designs are diverse, from those with delicate and ornate carvings to those that simply pursue functionality, entrusted to the maker's sensibility. This raw stone has a somewhat rounded shape.
天然のこの自然美っていうものに手を加えて高いレベルの数字に仕立ててあげたいですよね。
He's thinking of preserving the raw stone's form as much as possible.
指触りがどうかなっていうのをこう持った時に硯を持った時にどういう手触りになってるかっていうものも考えて。
He cannot begin work until he's thoroughly thought through various elements. Once stone is carved, it cannot be returned to its original state.
とりあえずこれでやってしまおうかって言った時のは大体ダメですね。
He deliberates repeatedly, and
これでいきましょう。
his thoughts seem to have come together. First, to stabilize the stone when placed, he shaves the surface with waterproof sandpaper attached to glass. What kind of inkstone will it become? Before him is the finest LaoKeng inkstone stone, and he was agonizing over what kind of inkstone to finish it as. A typical inkstone is rectangular. consisting of a part called the grinding surface where ink is ground, and an ink pool where it's stored. However, inkstones have been made in various shapes since ancient times, including what's called an inkstone slab with only the grinding surface.
これでいきましょう。
The design for the stone he's nurtured for 7 years has been decided. Before finally beginning to carve, he levels the stone. He attaches waterproof sandpaper to glass and shaves the stone's surface. How much he's shaving is not held in his hand. He judges by the vibration transmitted to his hand and the grinding water coming from the stone.
これで大丈夫です。
Leveling is complete.
材の特徴的な色ですね。
Next, he begins truing the stone's sides with an abrasive called carborundum. Based on the completion drawing he made, he shaves the sides. But
これは欲しいんですよ。欲しいんで。
this slightly chipped-looking part is a form created by nature. So he wants to preserve it to give the inkstone character.
欲しい部分は残して側面も落とすってことですね。
Of course, he doesn't apply carborundum to the parts he wants to preserve. It's work that gradually breathes life as a tool into stone created by nature. This is an inkstone slab without an ink pool that he made previously. Just slightly, but the natural stone's appearance is preserved. Side finishing is complete. The stone's form is preserved at the very edge. And before beginning to carve, he makes a rough draft directly whilst looking at the design.
この時大事なのはもう彫っている気持ちでいるっていうことなんだと思うんですよ。
Stone, once carved, cannot return to its original state. He proceeds with the draft whilst thinking this. He rewrites the draft again. And Takashi takes up his chisel. Carving has begun. What he uses is a chisel specifically for inkstones, with hard metal embedded at the tip.
この削り込み見てると分かりますけど、細かいですよこれ。
Fine carved powder is proof of good inkstone stone. What he's carving now is the part called the grinding surface where ink is ground. Gradually, the inkstone's form emerges from within the stone. But after this, Takashi's hand stops. The raw stone carving has progressed, and the ink pool where ink is stored has roughly taken shape. However, today Takashi shows no sign of beginning to carve.
これ昨晩一度彫ったところを平らにしてみて、やっぱり鍵盤っていう形が一番しっくりきたんです。墨地のない 鍵盤っていうのが絶対にこれは鍵盤うまくいくんですよ。
Inkstone slab refers to the indentation that stores ink. In other words, an inkstone without an ink pool. It's used when drawing with a small amount of ink. He cannot reach a conclusion about whether to make it an inkstone slab or an inkstone with an ink pool.
ここですよね。よし、決めました。
Having reached a conclusion, Takashi's chisel moves continuously without rest. After deliberation, it appears he will make it an inkstone with an ink pool after all. He strokes the stone whilst carving to confirm the inkstone's texture. Here his hand stops again.
これ難しいですよね。彫刻をやっぱ彫刻っていうのはすごくね便利なもんで、そこから頭にかけてしてしまえばまあ形にはなるんですけど、今回主役にしたいのは石ですから、彫刻の方とかには目がいかないように。
Although he's decided not to do carving, he seems undecided about how to bring together the whole to show the stone's goodness. He finally begins carving. What he's carving is the rim part. After this, by carving the center part slightly and adding a gentle slope, the ink won't spill even without a rim. By eliminating the rim, he thought to show the stone's surface widely, making it like an inkstone slab inkstone. Having finished carving, Takashi says,
綺麗すぎるすずりって隙がないすずりに見えるんですよ。ある程度跡が残ってたり、こういうふうに作ってたんだなっていうのが分かるような、そのぐらいのもので仕上がっていたものがあったりしますよね。そうすると使おうと思えるんですよね。
he says he wants to make this inkstone something that creates a bit of an opening, something people will want to use. He begins polishing the carved inkstone. He polishes the chisel marks running horizontally using many types of abrasives.
でここばっかやってるとここは減っちゃいますから、少しだけ浮かすんです、ここを。
He judges how much it's been polished by the roughness and sound transmitted to his hand. The inkstone using LaoKeng. Completion is near. There is a young person trying to preserve Japan's traditional culture for the future. A craftsman who makes inkstones, Inkstone craftsman Takashi Aoyagi. It's been 14 years since Takashi became apprentice to his father Akiyoshi.
仕事を始める時にある時から父と思うことをやめようと思ったんです。その方が教わりやすいんですよ。身内ってのはやっぱり甘えてダメなんです。
The inkstone making using LaoKeng had reached the final polishing stage.
これ磨きってね、気抜くと本当ダメなんですよ。気を抜くと手かけちゃいけないところにかけちゃうとあっという間に減っちゃうんですよ。
He's polishing the chisel carving marks. But by polishing, he must not change the impression of the carved lines. An inkstone made with beautiful lines soothes the heart just by looking at it. He carefully polishes even inside the ink pool, which is less than 1 centimeter wide. And finally, he raises fine irregularities, hōbō, on the grinding surface. Hōbō is the important part that determines the ink's grinding quality. For this, a special tool called a mud grindstone is used. Soak it and lightly moisten it with water. When I grind with this,
泥粉が出てきますよね。
the brown mud powder, finer than the stone's particles, carves away the stone's soft parts, leaving the hard particles.
これでもって方々が立つんですね。
Whether hōbō has developed or not can be understood by finger sensation. When this hōbō is photographed with a special camera. This is the hōbō of a commonly used inkstone. And this is LaoKeng's hōbō. Clearly LaoKeng has fine protrusions distributed evenly throughout. After this, to settle the color, he repeats applying and wiping off light ink several times. And further applies and wipes off lacquer several times to increase the inkstone's strength. And once it dries, all work is complete. Finally, the LaoKeng inkstone has reached completion. Soft yet dignified curves. A crescent moon-shaped ink pool resting upon it. The natural stone texture intentionally left on the sides harmonizes beautifully with the form created by human hands. How will Akiyoshi, both his father and master, view it?
意外といいんじゃないこれ。こうモダンな感じでね、ここら辺がいいよな。なんかあまり今まで高橋こういうの作んなかったから、ちょっと違う雰囲気でいいんじゃないかな。
どういうふうに彫っていったらいいだろうか、どういうふうにこの石を処理したらいいだろうかっていうところはもうたくさん作業していかないと体で覚えていくしかないんでしょうね。
From beginning by helping his grandfather, to being able to handle the finest materials, he will surely create various inkstones, inheriting his grandfather's spirit. Opening the door to tomorrow, he moves one step closer to his dream.